Dear students, I am here with another lecture from the chapter Respiration of the course Plant Physiology 1. I had started the topic aerobic respiration in my previous lecture. Today, I will discuss the last and final step of the aerobic respiration, that is called electron transport chain. I am Dr. Smina Mahmood, Assistant Professor Botany in the University of Education. So today's learning objective of this lecture are: what is actually electron transport chain, what is the enzymatic regulation of the electron transport chain, and how why it is important, and how different kind of enzymes are involved to inhibit the process of electron transport. So let's start. What is the electron transport chain? The electron transport chain is a cluster of proteins that transfer electrons through a membrane within mitochondria to form a gradient of protons that derive the creation of adenosine triphosphate, that is ATP. As this is the last and final step, so huge amount of ATPs is generated in this step. Total 34 ATPs are generated from a single molecule of glucose, which is in the very initial step, in the step of glycolysis, get utilized. And here you can see in the equation, in the presence of two hydrogen ions, in the presence of two electrons and half oxygen molecule get converted into water, and in this process energy is released. Protein gradient is referred to as the chemio-osmotic mechanism that drives the ATP synthesis, since it relies on a higher concentration of protons to generate proton motive force. The amount of ATP created is directly proportional to the number of protons that are pumped across the inner mitochondrial membrane. And in the redox reaction in ETC relies on the protein complexes to transfer electrons from a donor molecule to a acceptor molecule. As the name represent, it is the electron transport chain, means the main process or backbone of this cycle will be the transfer of the electrons from one molecule to the other, and this transfer is will be regulated by some force, which is here in this specific step is the proton gradient, which provides the energy for the movement from one molecule to the other. As the in the whole process, I discussed several times, the whole process of aerobic respiration is under the control of enzymes here, and all of these enzymes are specific for each step and each type of reaction in the body. So here in the electron transport chain is regulated by five enzyme complexes, which are called complex 1, complex 2, complex 3, complex 4, and complex 5. All of these complexes are different from each other in structure and function also. And mobile electron carriers are also present in the mitochondrial matrix. Complex 1 to 4 are the carriers of they carry the electron chiefly as a main function from one molecule to the other, while complex 5 is mainly responsible for the synthesis of ATP. And I will explain you all of these when I will explain you in the next of this lecture, the structure of these complexes and their specific functions. Complex 1 is also called NADH co-Q reductase, complex 2 succinate, co-Q reductase, complex 3 co-Q cytochrome C reductase, complex 4 is cytochrome oxidase, and complex 5 ATP synthase. So, and five distinct electron carriers are here in electron transport chain are NAD positive, which is derived from niacin protein, flavoproteins, which is derived from complex 1 and 2, iron sulfur complex, for example FeS, Fe2S2, Fe3S3, and many more other iron sulfur complexes. Cytochromes, which contain the heme group, but it is important to mention this heme group is different from the hemoglobin, and its structure is different, and its function is also different. And CoQ, which is the main regulator for the cycle of the electron transfers from donor to the recipient molecule. And some vitamins, for example vitamin D and vitamin E, are also involved, which are present in the mitochondrial matrix. Represent the mitochondrial matrix. So here we start the different terms which are associated with the electron transport chain, which is called traffic cop. Both complex 1 and complex 2 pass the electrons to the inner membrane by the use of coenzyme Q, which accept the electrons in pairs and pass them off to the complex 3 singly, thus act as a traffic cop, means which transfer the electrons from one molecule to the other. So electron transfer start from complex 1, and the final destination is the complex 3, and the whole passage which is covered by the electron is regulated by coenzyme Q. So it is called traffic cop. Next is the docking station S. The Here we see electron transfer started from complex 1, and it reaches finally at the complex 3, and where it get deported or interchanged to other specific molecules. So complex 3 is called the docking station or dropping station or interchange for the incoming electrons, which are regulated by coenzyme Q. And the outgoing carrier cytochromes C. This is the coenzyme Q, which brings the electrons from complex 1 to complex 3, and from this docking station, cytochrome takes the electron and transfer it to the next molecule, that is complex 4 and 5 in the next step. It is referred The whole process of this electron transfer is referred to as Q cycle. Cytochrome C takes one electron from the complex 3 and pass it to the complex 4 cytochrome oxidase, which is the final protein recipient of the electrons. Electrons passes to the molecular oxygen to make two molecules of water, and total 4 electrons are required for this conversion. The next term which is used in the electron transfer chain is the proton pump. Electrons transferred through complex 1 to complex 4 release small amount of energy at each step, which is used to pump protons from the mitochondrial matrix to the intermembrane space of the mitochondria. Due to this, electrochemical potential gradient develop across the membrane. Here you can see in the picture that this is compulsory step for the electron transport chain, that these protons which you can see here, they are synthesized here in the mitochondrial matrix. Here you can see the name, this space is representing the mitochondrial matrix, and this is the intermembrane space between the two membranes of the mitochondria, outer membrane and inner membrane. So protons get synthesized here in the process of oxidation and reduction, which are carried out here in which you can see oxygen get converted into water and NADH get converted to NAD positive, and protons which are generated, they get exported from mitochondrial matrix to the interspace of the mitochondrial membrane. And from this electrochemical gradient, as I told you, in this space, after some time, when the electron transport get initiated in the body, and the proton level will get increased in the mitochondrial intermembrane space, and in the mitochondrial matrix, its concentration will reduce. This will create a potential variation between these two membranes or compartments, and due to this variation in the potential, or called potential gradient, all of the process of ATP synthesis is regulated. And the fourth final term which is used in the ATC is the potential energy. Electrochemical gradient have potential energy which facilitates the production of ATP from ADP and inorganic phosphate. This process is known as oxidative phosphorylation, and it depends on the oxidative reaction occurring in the mitochondria. Here I told you this protons in the intermembrane space, they create electrochemical potential variation or potential gradient between these two compartments, and in on the inner side there is a deficit of protons, and in the interspace there is the huge quantity of the protons. And these protons via complex 5 or in the by the use of ATP synthase again get shifted from interspace to the mitochondrial matrix, where ADP and presence of phosphate regulate its conversion from ADP to ATP. This is the picture representation. As I told you, all of this is the outer membrane of the mitochondria, this is the inner membrane of the mitochondria, and this space between this is called intermembrane space. And between the embedded in the intermembrane space is called the mitochondrial matrix. So, as a result of this oxidation and reduction processes which are carried out by NADH present in the matrix, FADH2 present in the body, molecules get oxidized and reduced into NAD positive, and protons are produced in this process. And the protons which are produced in this process or by the process of citric acid cycle in the mitochondrial matrix, they get exported from mitochondrial matrix by the use of these proteins or protein complexes which are present in the inner membrane of the mitochondria to the intermitochondrial intermembrane space of the mitochondria. And when this export is continued, as the more energy is required, more these redox reaction occur in the mitochondrial matrix, and more protons will be exported in the intermembrane space. When the concentration of these protons will be higher, and as a result of this inside matrix very low protons, and in the interspace membrane high concentration of the protons, in that situation potential gradient is established. And we know the rule: from higher concentration to the towards the lower concentration, always things move in a natural condition. So protons now they have the ability, they can move from the intermembrane space back to the matrix, but they required a specific channel and specific protein. From there they can get enter again into the matrix. From there they are produced and exported out. So in this complex 5, in the presence of ATP synthase enzyme act as a carrier, or it provides a passage to the protein to move from the intermembrane space to enter into the matrix, where in the presence of ADP and PI it get converted into ATP, which is the main product of the process of respiration. So here I need to explain you that the whole process of this conversion on the first step is dependent on this oxidation and reduction processes from where protons are generated and exported, and ATP synthesis further depends on the availability of ADP, because if ADP is not available here and protons get transferred from by the use of ATP synthesis into the cell, then there will be no use of these protons in the matrix until or unless ADP is present and present in huge quantity, because and quantity or concentration of ADP is directly dependent on the need of the cell. If higher energy is required, then higher concentration of ADPs are required, and outside membrane higher potential gradient of protons is required. And if energy is not required in higher quantities, then inside the matrix ADP will not be available in huge quantity, or otherwise this oxidation or reduction process will slow down. Also, as a reaction, protons will be produced in less quantity, and so they will be exported less to the intermembrane space, so there will be no potential gradient, so whole process will shut down. Here, I will explain you in detail the complexes which I explained you, and I explained their function in my previous slide. Complex 1 is also called NADH, ubiquinone oxidoreductase, or NADH dehydrogenase, largest electron accepting complex from NADH. It contains 44 individual polypeptide chain, numerous iron sulfur centers, a molecule of flavin molecule, mononucleotide molecule, which is called FMN, and has an L shape with about 60 transmembrane domains. Electron transfer through it, four protons are pumped across the inner membrane. Electrons from NADH move to the coenzyme Q, converting it from ubiquinone, which contain no electron, to ubiquinol, gain of two electrons. An intermediate form of this ubisemi quinone also exists, which contain only one electron, and the whole process of this is called Q cycle. As I told you previously, that electrons move from complex 1 to the complex 3, which is the docking station. So this conversion this transfer of electrons from one molecule to the other is regulated by Q cycle, which is ubiquinone is the main regulator enzyme for this, which exists in three states, in which it has two electrons, in the other is in which it has one electron, and the last and final state in which it has no electron. Inhibitors of this complex are rotenone coenzyme, which binds to the coenzyme Q, or ADP ribose, which binds to the NADH site. So these are the other inhibitor complexes also exist, but these are the major and most pronounced inhibitors for the complex 1. And when they are activated, complex 1 will not act in a proper way, so electron transport chain will not get activated in the body. The process of electron transport chain transfer through complex 1 is reversible process, and when it occurs, superoxide will be regenerated. So it represents the abnormality in the cycle. If it get in the back direction or reverse direction, in that superoxide, that is H2O2, will be produced, and that if produced in huge quantity, can damage the cell membrane or cell structure. So here you can see the structure of the complex 1, in which I told you four protons they are pumped, and iron sulfur complexes are present. So these are the NADH get reduced into NAD positive, and protons produced, which transfer to the FMN, and these in the process get converted to FES, and over there it is accepted by coenzyme Q, and get entered into the Q cycle. This is the complex 2. which is also called succinate dehydrogenase or succinate coenzyme Q reductase. Electron transfer from succinate to FAD to form FADH2 and fumarate. FADH2 in turn donates two electrons to the coenzyme Q, converting it to the ubiquinol, which is the state as I explained you in the last slide. Carboxyl, malonate, malate, and oxaloacetate are the inhibitors of this complex 2. At this step, reversible process could also be possible, and in response to the reversible process, again superoxides will be produced, and if they produce, there is a chance, if they are produced in huge quantity, cell structure will be damaged. So it is always better that it should not go in the reverse direction. Coenzyme Q, also called 1,4-benzoquinone, contain isoprenyl units that anchor to mitochondrial inner membrane. Lipid substances found in most metabolically active tissues, heart, liver, kidney, which needs higher energy and metabolically active parts in the body under high energy requirements required in huge concentration. QQ can carry and donate the electrons present in three forms, as I told you. One form contains two electrons, one contains one electron, and one contains no electron. And this transition from in different forms actually provide the driving force to the electron transport chain. As you can see in the picture, again succinate to fumarate, this is conversion regulated by this FAD conversion to FADH2, which get entered into the iron sulfur complex, and heme is also involved. And as I told you that this heme is different in structure and function from the heme which is present in the hemoglobin, and from here these protons get transferred to the Q enzyme and enter into the Q cycle. And this Q cycle is started from the complex 1, continue to the complex 2, and ultimately finalized at the complex, which you can see here. Complex 3, also called coenzyme Q, cytochrome C oxidoreductase, or the cytochrome BC1 complex, contains 11 subunits to iron ferridoxin, cytochrome B and C1. It accepts the electron from coenzyme Q in electron transport and pass them off to the cytochrome C. 4 protons pumped into the intermembrane space. Antimycin A, mixothiazole, and stigmatylane complexes are the inhibitors for the complex 3. Q cycle regulates the whole transfer of the electron, which is started from the complex 1 and ends at the complex 3. Cytochrome C also contains heme group, which is used to carry a single electron from complex 3 to complex 4. Cytochrome C plays role in apoptosis also during mitochondrial damage. Here you can see in the picture, this is the final docking stage, complex 3, in which electrons are transferred and get converted, and here coenzyme Q brings the electrons from complex 1 to complex 3, and at the complex 3 cytochrome C accepts the electron and transfer it to the complex 4, as you can see here in the picture. Complex 4, also called cytochrome C oxidase, is a 14 subunit integral membrane protein except one electron each from 4 cytochrome C proteins, and adding them to the molecular oxygen along with 4 protons from the mitochondrial matrix to make 2 molecules of water. 4 protons from the matrix are also pumped into the intermembrane space in the process. The complex has 2 molecules of heme, 2 cytochromes A and A3, and 2 copper centers called copper A and copper B. Cytochrome C docks near the copper A and donates an electron to it. The reduced copper A passes the electrons to the cytochrome A, which turns it over to the A3 and copper B center, where oxygen is reduced. No superoxide is in these complexes produced, as you can see. This is the step when the electron transfer started from, we see complex 1 over there superoxide production chances are there in at the complex 2 also. The chances exist at the complex 3 also, superoxide production chances exist, but and the complex 4 no chance of the production of superoxide. It means when the step reaches or the electron reaches at this stage, there is no reverse process that will occur in the cycle. So here you can see cytochrome C, brings and copper and iron complexes are involved for this transfer, and over there in the presence of oxygen it get converted into the water molecule. Complex 5 is very important. It is based on ATP synthase enzyme, which is important in the synthesis of ATPs. So, as I explained you earlier, in this proton gradient is very important, which is regulated by the initial four step in which mitochondrial matrix as a response to redox reactions, protons are produced, and via complex 1 to complex 4 these are transported across the membrane, inner membrane of the mitochondria, and in the intermembrane space proton gradient exists. When this proton gradient will be activated in the mitochondria, in that situation ATP synthase will act and open the channel for potential for protons to move from intermembrane space to back into the matrix. And when protons get entered into the matrix, ADP presence and phosphate, these are two molecules on which ATP synthesis is dependent at the complex 5. If these two are not present, then whole process of electron transport will be shut down. So when protons come inside in the presence of ADP and PI, it get converted into the ATP. So this is the whole process of transport chain. I explained you this already in my early slides, in which I told you the difference between the outer membrane, matrix, intermembrane space, and these four complexes, and these are the oxidation and reduction process. This is the summary of the whole process from complex 1 to complex 4, in which as a result of the oxidation and reduction process protons are produced and they are built up in the intermembrane space to create the inter proton in the cell. So this chart represents the whole passage of the electron from complex 1 to complex 5 and the production of ATP. And in the whole process, the total 34 ATPs are generated, and which is the main uh, product of the process of inhibitor of the complex 2. And doxorubicin is the inhibitor for the coenzyme Q. Carbon monoxide is the inhibitor for the complex 4. Antimycin is the inhibitor for complex 3. Cyanide is the inhibitor for complex 4, and oligomycin is the inhibitor for complex 5, that is ATP. This is the picture representation of the complexes which are present in the electron transport chain, and this is the internal membrane of the mitochondria. And here you can see these, as I told you earlier, these are the specific enzymes which inhibits the specific complex for its activity. Here you can see for the complex 1, complex 3, complex 4, complex 5, and rotenone inhibits the activity of the complex 1 by binding with and inhibiting the action of FES complex. And antimycin A and amito, it inhibits the function of the complex 3. Likewise, cyanide and hydrogen sulfide and carbon monoxide, these inhibits the activity of the complex 4. And oligomycin, or which is the uncoupler of DNP and CCCP, that inhibits the activity of ATP synthase, which is actually the complex 5 that regulate the proton flux. around the membrane. This is the summary of whole aerobic process of respiration, in which process of glycolysis initiated from the glucose and by 10 enzymatic reaction it get converted into the pyruvate that entered into the decarboxylation of a pyruvate cycle, and over there it get converted into acetyl CoA that can get enter into the citric acid cycle, and as a reaction it get oxidized and reduced in 8 different enzymatically controlled steps, and in the final step it get enter into the electron transport chain. Over there the final as a final result of the oxidation reduction process, a proton gradient built up that regulate the synthesis of ATP by the use of ATP synthase. So this is the overall whole procedure of the aerobic respiration that started from glycolysis and ends at the electron transport chain. That's the whole process. In today's lecture, I finished the aerobic respiration, and I told you that the process of glycolysis is common between aerobic and anaerobic type of respiration. In my next lecture, I will explain you the rest of the part of the anaerobic type of respiration. So I use these books to prepare this lecture. You can go through these books if you are interested more in this lecture. Thank you very much.